Guys, it has been far too long since we've had The Witcher, and Season 2 is finally here. Guys, we just covered Spider-Man No Way Home, so check out that video if you haven't seen it. It's out in theaters. But tonight, it's all about Witcher, Episode 1. We're going to talk about the 3 biggest takeaways from the episode, everything that you need to know. So hit the subscribe button, click the bell so you don't miss, and guys, let's dive right into it. Picking up right where we left off in Season 1, where Yennefer completely decimated the entire war that was going on, and now the hunt begins for Yennefer. Everybody's like, okay, where is she? She obviously has shown up on the scene as a mega force to be reckoned with.
She's OP. She's OP, and everybody wants that power.
Don't mind the little bird.
New friend Bongo.
Hear. Bongo just has some input to say on that.
She said, "Yeah, Yennefer crazy."
We don't know that this is necessarily the end. Right, so in the hunt for Yennefer, we would hear from Tissaia saying that we're not sure if Nilfgaard has reinforcements coming.
Right.
We also would hear later on in the episode from Fringilla, who had her little group of survivors, that they would actually capture Yennefer.
Yeah.
That this is only the beginning, basically.
Yeah. I think that's an important point. Because in Season 1, you know, we keep having these sort of like rebirths of Yennefer, sleepy rebirths of Yennefer, you know. First she goes from kind of being deformed, and then she becomes beautiful, and then she realizes that she's powerful, and then at the end
Sydney, deformed can be beautiful.
Then at the end of this season, once again she's realizing that she's even more powerful than she thought she was.
As she becomes more beautiful, she becomes more corrupt and more ugly on the inside. Before, her appearance and her lack of power made her a very humble, very meek type of person, but now she's really feeling herself, and it's taking a toll on her personality. As I think it'll be her downfall, but I think it's safe to say that whoever side Yennefer ends up on will be the winning side.
You know, and I think that Season 2 is going to see, you know, more of her kind of giving to others from her power. I don't necessarily think that it's going to be a full season of that. I think that there is going to be a shift back to those selfish, you know, gains, those selfish methods of using her power for her own gain.
Yeah.
The second big takeaway that we kind of took away from this was the major part of this episode was dealing with a friend of Geralt, which we know is very few and far between. But he would go to this town that was abandoned, and some kind of creature that attacked the people in this town, and he would move on to his friend's house, his friend named Nevelin, and we would find out his story and the creature that he was protecting.
Yeah, let me just say before we start on this dude definitely looked like Beast from Beauty and the Beast. I mean, that was the first thing that we all were like,
his husks look just like the husks that come out of Beast's face.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, no, this story I think was good, and I think it's kind of getting us into the rhythm of what The Witcher usually is from the games and the books and all that kind of stuff. It's episodically something where you're meeting a new monster, you're going to a new town, and this is what The Witcher does on the day. This is his day job, you know. He goes and kills these monsters. I think what made it hit home was that it was an old friend, and this monster, the Bruxa, had attached itself to Nevelin in a way that was kind of a symbiotic relationship where they grew love for one another, and while she was feeding off of him. Sorry, Bongo. No. But
oh heck no, you're wrong.
He's like, no, you're wrong. So what did you guys think about the episode as a whole, and how it's moving in? I mean, some people would say maybe this episode was a little dry, just kick off the season.
It was a little slow to start off.
I do think that it was kind of slow, but I felt like coming off of the big battle from the end of Season 1, this was supposed to be a quick turnaround in retrospect, you know. Like you said early on, Chris, this was 2 years that it took to actually get this out. And one of the big things that we all noticed from it was how much older Cirilla looks from when we last saw her in Season 1. And it's because of that elapse in real time.
Well, speaking of creatures and monsters.
What?
Creatures.
What did you just say?
And monsters. Was that not clear?
No, you slurring your words.
Sorry, it's late. Anyway.
She's
so, takeaway number 3 is Cirilla.
Correct.
Cirilla.
She's not
She
all
started
here
to-
tonight. Hey guys, but hit a subscribe button because we up at 4 o'clock in the morning doing this
5.
for y'all. So
Yeah,
make that 5.
So anyway, Cirilla is starting to realize that Geralt is a force to be reckoned with. I guess she never really realized what a Witcher was, but now, when the Bruxa starts flipping out and he goes all Witcher mode and black-eyed and he's like telling her to do things, she's afraid, and to me it seemed like there was like this sort of crisis of morality for her. She was like, oh, we can't kill the Bruxa because it's a person and like it just blah blah blah, and he's like, no, we need to kill it. And then once he kills the Bruxa's like, she says to Cirilla, what, he will come for you too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Basically,
he'll
because
come for you too.
because Ciri, is that her name for
Yeah,
short?
Ciri,
In essence, is a monster too. She's got a lot of power. She's very young and she can't control it all. And that's what the Witchers do. They kill people.
monsters.
They kill monsters.
And I think that, if you watch closely to kind of the facial expressions after Geralt kills the Bruxa and after it connects to Ciri mentally, like it's not like a verbal thing that we see uttered, but we hear it. And it was, obviously foreshadowed in their initial meeting inside of the bedroom where Cirilla was sleeping. But when you look at what this whole story is, Geralt was tasked to protect Cirilla. This was his law of surprise reward, basically, was to protect her. The dying wish of her grandmother was to protect Ciri, and in the end, it may end up being that Geralt has to protect the world from her.
Yeah.
Ciri is someone who has seen kind of the worst in humanity and is continuing to see that, because remember, the Witcher is still actually a human. He's just an enhanced human. And there's been a through line throughout this entire show that the worst monsters are the humans. It's actually not these other creatures. So I think they were really setting this up between Geralt and Ciri, because this Bruxa was well-intended, or at least, she had that conversation with Ciri on the bed talking about, well, are you a monster just because you are different, right? Kind of making herself the same, right? And then you also have a situation where the person or the victim of the Bruxa, the victim of the monster, loved the monster and kind of was hiding her because he didn't want Geralt's help. He didn't want the Witcher to come and ruin what they had. And then they doubled down on it again. Remember, right before the Bruxa died, she said, I'll rip her throat out if you don't just leave us alone. She's pleading with Geralt to just leave them be. At this point, they're not hurting anybody. She's siphoning the blood off of her lover, Nevelyn, at the time, and it was kind of a symbiotic relationship. And so I think they're going to continue this, and it's going to serve to grow Ciri's view that humans really are the bad thing. And it goes to what you were saying, Jay, that ultimately Ciri may turn against humanity.
And one other thing leading into episode 2 that we really wanted to kind of point out was at the very end of the episode, we would see Fringilla and her group of, Nilfgaard survivors who had Yennefer captured start to be attacked by some unknown creature. So that was the big cliffhanger that left us heading into episode 2. So make sure, comment down below what your thoughts were on episode 1. Let us know that down in the comments. We'll continue this discussion.
So we'll have to stay tuned, and you guys got to stay tuned by clicking the bell so you don't miss as we cover episode 2 very shortly. In fact, we're going back to back to back to back. You don't want to miss. And guys, if you want to show the appreciation, go ahead and subscribe as well and like the video. So thank you guys, and we'll see you for episode 2. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you for episode 2. West Coast, East Coast siblings. See you in the next one. Peace.